Call the meeting to order and ask you to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning and welcome to the August 30th County Commission meeting. I'd remind you to silence your cell phone. The meeting documents are on the end of the counter in the white binder, and Robert is in the front row, can help you with listening devices if you need them. With that, we'll go on to routine business. Item number 1 is consider a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
I have a change. I move to eliminate item C, which is from the under item 10, number C.
I have a motion to remove item C under item 10. Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. Item number 2 is a motion to approve.
Madam Chair.
Adopt as amended, please.
Excuse me.
Yep, nope, that's okay.
And I need a motion to adopt the amended motion.
So move.
Second.
And a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. Item number 2 is approve the county commission minutes from August 28th, 2016. Is there a motion?
So move.
Second.
Any comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. Item number 3 is bills to be paid in the amount of $1,027,143.43.
Pay the bills.
Second.
Motion is second. Any comments? Commissioner Barth?
Madam Chair, today's bills include one bill for $56,000 to XL Energy for air conditioning this complex, I suppose. We also had 8 bills in the Highway Department to concrete materials totaling about $80,000 for asphalt. And there was $545,000 for a bridge project out in Brandon that shall remain nameless.
Thank you.
One other.
I have a motion. Oh, Commissioner
There's
Kelly.
also a bill for $23,000 for the defense costs on Rodney Burdett.
Commissioner Bender.
And just to follow up on that and kind of to follow up on our conversation that we had last week with the courts, there's a total of $61,000 for outside counsel costs just that we're approving just this week. So that continues to be a significant issue that we are grappling with.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments. I have a motion and a second to pay the bills. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. Item number 4 is reports. There are none. Item number 5 is personnel actions. Item A is consider a motion to approve the routine personnel actions. Is there a
Make
motion?
that motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. Item number 6 is applications for abatement. There are none. Item number 7 is notices and requests. There are none. Item number 8 is planning and zoning notices. There are none. Item number 9 is petition for compromise of lien. Item A is DP&O number 60178 in the amount of $7,301.35. Robert Wilson. Good morning, Robert.
Good morning, Commissioners. Robert Wilson with the Commission Office. You have before you an application for a compromise of lien of DP&O 60178 in the amount of $7,301.35. The applicant in this case is not the same person as the lienee. The lienee passed away in 2007. The applicant and this individual had a relationship prior to that and had purchased a home. They were not married, but they had purchased a home together, and in the recent past, as the applicant moved forward with plans to sell that home, this lien came to light and is now the subject of this application. We'll tell you that the sale has gone through, has completed, and the amount in question here, this lien amount, is in escrow pending your decision and your action or lack of action today. The applicant and the lienee, again, were never married, but they purchased a home in 2003 in Sioux Falls. The lienee did have interest in the property at the time it was purchased. That has been transferred recently. So the applicant now, again, this came to light as she was preparing to sell the home, discovered the county aid lien. The applicant details in length how this was a difficult relationship with addictive behaviors and some abusive relationship as well. At times, the costs that were incurred were as a result of actions against the applicant, either in defense costs for the lienee for assaults allegedly against the applicant, or for medical care for the lienee as a result of confrontation with the applicant. The applicant has provided a fairly extensive, fairly detailed narrative for your review, and I know the applicant is here and is available to answer your questions. I have provided you with a number of different documents, including the application, the lien summary sheet, and would be able to answer any questions you might have for me, but also would turn it over to the applicant, who I believe wishes to address you. If you have any questions for me, I'd be happy to answer them.
Are there questions for Robert? Okay. If the applicant would like to speak, you can sit where you are. You don't have to say your name, and just speak loudly. And if you don't want to speak, you don't have to.
I'm a little embarrassed by this, but I'm an attorney, and I've put up with his abuse we moved from Minneapolis, and I put up with his abuse for 8 years. Tried to get him help, and I just think this is an issue of domestic violence, and I don't think I should have to pay for being abused. People with education and money get abused as well. So that's my issue.
Thank you. Any questions for the applicant?
Well, I guess, I mean, and I don't want to minimize any abuse you occurred, because I think that is a very significant issue, and I don't disagree with any of the statements you made, other than, it seems clear to me that what happened here is that the person that had the lien owned property, and that really it's that property that's being asked to pay for the amount of the lien. I think there's some very troubling parts of this. I'm not sure how this person qualified to receive poor relief or public defender services, given the sizable asset that he had some kind of co-ownership in.
He had never paid for a dime for the property. I just spent probate money. He was an addict. I worked all the time, paid everything. And it's just, that's my question, sorry, I'm a little overwhelmed.
Did he own the property legally?
Yes, we fought it. It was supposed to be in joint tenancy, and we went through, yeah.
So he owned the property, and my issue is that it's the property that he owned that's being asked to repay the lien for services rendered. I have issues with several things here that really have nothing to do with you, but that are more systematic for us as to how he qualified to receive poor relief and to receive public defender services when he clearly owned a very sizable asset. I don't think he probably should have qualified for those, but legally speaking, he owned the asset, whether it was in joint tenancy or tenancy in common. He had ownership in that asset, and that asset is what is being asked to repay this debt. Not you personally, but the asset that he owned. I mean,
But it is me personally.
but you got his half ownership in that.
And I never received notice of this lien. I had no idea what it was. I got no notice whatsoever. And he's been dead for almost 10 years. I had no idea it was there.
It should have been discovered during the probate, to be honest with you. It should have been brought to light during,
Went through probate.
I know, but it should have, whoever was your legal counsel during that probate should have done a lien search on the property, and it should have been discovered, and we should have been notified during that probate,
My question is, why wasn't I ever notified?
because that's not how the system works. I mean, I defer to our state's
I went
attorney.
through all this legal work, and I never saw anything where he was even notified.
Well, notification would have gone to the debtor themselves, and as I understand it, his mailing address would have never changed from the address that we're talking about here, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
In all these years, I've never seen, and there's never been a notice to me at all.
He would have signed off on it though initially, because the county doesn't continue to notify people when they have liens. They have to sign off on them initially that they accept the services and,
Correct.
yep.
Madam Chair, you
Commissioner
know,
Barrett.
assuming that somebody that owed us a lien and owned a property passes away without any buddy associated with, you know, with their nephew inheriting their property, we don't then collect from that estate, do we?
Yes, we do.
We do.
In fact, I would argue that once we're noticed, it's a requirement before the estate is even closed, in my experience. But we weren't notified here.
Additional questions, comments?
So let me ask the applicant, so was part of this bill due to involuntary commitment of the applicant, or of the deceased?
No idea. It's around the time that he beat me up, he was charged with a felony.
Was legal defense as opposed to,
That's when
It was
doing,
both.
and,
It was
half of it was imposed after he died.
well, Madam Chair,
Commissioner
I
Barrett.
would just point out that in the past, those familial relationships where an IVC gets billed to the family person, I've long objected to, where if for the safety of your child you send them to treatment, I recognize that we do get the bill, but I don't believe that that's the way it should be. I think that if in good faith you help them get cared for, that's to the benefit of all of us.
This is not an IVC. This is not an IVC.
There, I thought that
I'm going to ask Carol.
I thought that our council just said that it was both, but
I said it was poor relief
Poor
and public
relief.
defense.
And I can bring up the lien summary sheet that we did include in the packet. The information is that there are 2 charges for poor relief that were recorded on July 17th and September 15th of 2006, and then a public defender charge on August 9th of 2007. According to the applicant's narrative, the poor relief services related to medical bills that that involved an incident involving the 2 of them, and then the public defender charge also refers to an incident that the applicant notes in her
All right.
in her narrative as well.
Okay.
thank you.
Additional comments or questions? Look for a motion.
I would make a motion to deny the application due to the fact that the asset that's paying the lien was owned by the lienee. So,
Second.
I have a motion and a second to deny. Any other comments?
I guess I would say that I think that there would be an opportunity to compromise it for less than the full amount there, but I appreciate the input of Commissioner Bender.
I think according to the state's attorney that it's basically the law that when somebody's deceased, we collect on the property.
To be,
Oh.
if I can.
Yeah, sorry.
To be clear, I mean, what I'm telling you from a legal perspective is it's legal and enforceable no matter what the format of the ownership was. At the time the recording happened, the ownership was there. It's up to you today. You have the power under statute to not compromise, partially compromise, or fully compromise. I mean, that's a matter of discretion to the commission because it really is the money owed to the taxpayers of the county and you're their representative. But I don't want it to make it sound like you have to deny this under some policy or law. You're given that discretion, but there's nothing legally defective in my opinion with the lien or the obligation. So
I guess the question is, the deceased did have ownership and did have an estate when he died, and this is part of the debt he owed. And I don't think this is a case of compromise, frankly, because it's coming out of an estate. How that was handled legally, I don't understand all that stuff, but I would disagree with Jeff that I think it should be denied in full.
I have a motion and a second. Any additional comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed,
Aye.
same sign. Motion passes 4-1. So we'll move on to opportunity for public comment. Is there anyone who would like to speak on something that is not on the agenda?
Madam Chair,
Commissioner Barth?
I would like to speak on something that's not
Okay.
on the agenda. In August 30th, 1986, I got married to my wife Sherry, and today, August 30th, 2016, the 30th and the 30th sync up together. So 30 years of marriage on the 30th of August. I just wanted to make that comment and thank my wife.
Congratulations.
So
Commissioner
should we
Barth.
send a sympathy card to?
Poor Sherry.
She certainly deserves one.
Yeah. Congratulations to you and Sherry. With that, we will move on to regular business. Item number 10 is consider motion to approve the following actions related to the disposition of the tax deed properties. Mr. Litz. And I'm gonna, we don't have Mr. Litz.
Good morning, Commissioners. Rich Leitz, Property Tax Administrator.
I'm gonna let you read them. Because do we need to do these one at a time? Or all together? Okay.
In your packets over the weekend, you received the findings of the Appraisal Board that met on the 19th of August, and we looked at 5 properties. And the Appraisal Board placed out there their recommendations. And so I would like the board to act on those recommendations, approve
So-
them or amend them.
Item A is to accept the findings of the appraisal board report.
I'll make that motion.
A
Second.
motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. I'll do item number B. Declare RDAI number 65570 and 37890 and 30114 as surplus for sale at public auction and approve the minimum bid amount for these properties.
Yes. I will inform the board that record ID 37890 was redeemed within the past hour by the prior owner. And so we will be bringing forth an action next week to redeem or to restore the ownership back to the previous owner with
So-
the resolution.
So will we still declare that surplus for auction, and then next week we come back and restore it? Kirsten?
what is the status of the payment, Rich, at this point?
Well, they just paid it this morning,
Okay,
so.
so we've received the money.
we've
I think
received the money.
So
I
we
don't
can just
know.
remove it.
you can act to restore it
You
to
can-
the prior record owner by by action today. Yep.
Okay,
Okay.
all right. So this motion would be to declare record ID number 65570 and 30114 as surplus for sale and public auction. Commissioner Kelly?
Was it paid by check,
Robert,
cashier's check, or
I believe it was a
cashier's?
cashier's check.
Thank you.
Going back, Madam Chair, going back to your comment there, 65570 and 30114, I'd make a motion to declare them surplus for sale at public auction and to approve the minimum bid amounts for those properties.
Okay, have a motion.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. And then back to record ID number 37890 to restore it to the
Prior
original
record owner.
prior record owner. Is there
So move.
Second.
a motion and a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. Then we are down to item number D, which is payment has been received from the former owner of the record for all taxes, interest, penalties, and county fees in the amount of $21,770.49 for record for tax ID number 2596, record ID number 79981. Action requested is for approval of the resolution restoring record or tax ID number 2596 to the former owner of the record and authorize the county treasurer to issue a quick claim deed. Comments, Rich?
The former owner did pay all the monies owed on the property, and we ask that you approve the resolution restoring the ownership to the previous owner and the treasurer to issue a quick claim deed.
I'd make that motion.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. And the last one is item E, is authorize the auditor to publish notice for public auction on September 24th, 2016 at 10 o'clock.
That's my motion.
Second, I have a question.
Motion and a second with a comment.
Where will that auction be held?
It's held here on the first floor of the administration
Outside the
building.
auditor's office?
Yes, in the hallway.
Okay. I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Madam Chair, I have a question for Rich
Okay.
before he leaves us. Rich, every now and then a citizen will say to me, why don't we sell these deeds to private individuals who then would collect those interest payments? We get the interest on these deals, right? So
Right.
in the long run, we're going to get paid one way or the other, and we get a very nice interest return on owning them, right?
Well, we take the certificate.
Yes.
The very first year it goes delinquent.
And so we get that money as opposed to a private individual getting that money.
Well, the taxpayers do, yes.
Yeah.
Back to the taxing
That's what I
entities.
meant, sorry.
Yep.
I just know that people ask me about
Yeah.
that, and how come we don't do it? And they usually are speculators in local operations.
We used to do that.
Yeah. And it used to not be contemplated for the county to take them. Since you didn't get your history lesson during public comment today, the reason that ultimately was done in our statutes is during the Depression era, county governments were so cash poor that they needed to rely on people stepping in to pay or to take those tax certificates to take on that obligation rather than have the county take them themselves. So it's a little bit of a throwback. I know Pennington County still does it, though. They elect to do that. It's ultimately up to the counties to elect that and use the commission. So there's your history lesson.
Not much has changed.
Okay.
Thank you, Commissioners. Maybe, but
We'll go on to item number 11. It was to consider the following actions related to surplus property.
Did you need a motion on the?
We did that one
Okay,
already.
okay.
We did a motion, a second on that one. So the next one is item A, to transfer a 1994 Chevy pickup VIN number 1GCFK29H5RE208500 from JDC to facilities.
You need a separate motion on that one?
I need a separate motion on that
Okay, I make that motion.
Second.
one. And a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. And item B is to rescind commission action from 8/23/16, declaring 1999 Chevy Lumina VIN number 2G1WL52M5X9118455 as surplus for sale at the public auction and authorize the transfer to the facilities department.
So move.
Second?
Is there any questions for Robert on this? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. Item number 2 is consider motion to authorize the chairman to sign agreement between the Minnehaha County and the Minnehaha County Deputies Association. Carol Muller.
Good morning, Commissioners. Carol Muller, Commission Administrative Officer. Negotiations with the Minnehaha County Deputies Association has concluded, and presented for your review is the negotiated contract, which is effective December 17th, 2016 through the last payroll period of 2019. Authorization for the chairperson to sign this contract is requested. The Deputies Association has voted to approve the contract, which has been signed by their representative. Just a couple things I'll point out. One, the contract does include some cleanup of different things, as we often find ourselves going through and doing that. And we'll just mention that wages are negotiated. The association is guaranteed a minimum of a 2% matrix adjustment for 2017 and 1% matrix adjustments for 2018 and 19 each.
In the event that Minnehaha County Commission approves a greater matrix adjustment for the general, that is the non-union and non-elected employees for any of these years, the association will receive the percentage that is greater. With that, I would stand by to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions?
Move for approval.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. I would just like to say, I'd like to thank the law enforcement for working with the commission office on negotiations and coming up with a good contract, I think, for the next 3 years going forward, and we appreciate what they do for the county, and we thank them for their service. So with that, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. Next, we have liaison assignments. Are there any, or excuse me, reports? Are there any reports? Commissioner Bender.
I'd just like to report that we had our last focus group on the jail last Thursday night. Had a great conversation. The initial comments that we received immediately following the meeting, we had each participant ask for particular comments from each participant, and a great majority of them left their comments as they left. There were a few that weren't able to make that meeting, and a couple that were still waiting for their comments, but the comments we received initially were really overwhelmingly favorable to the information presented, and so we look forward to meeting with each one of the commissioners over the next month and presenting, giving you an opportunity to see the information that the participants saw and their comments. So,
Additional liaison, Commissioner Kelly.
Could I just make a comment on that? You've noticed that in the last 2 weeks, we've twice had over 500 in custody. And I really would encourage the commission to get moving, because it's going to be 3 years from the date of groundbreaking, or from the date of acceptance. And I can't imagine what these numbers are going to be like 3 years down the road.
And I have one more, and that was that I was nominated again as a member of the Justice and Public Safety Steering Committee on NACO, and so that will be for 2017. There would be a legislative session in February, and then in July, the National Convention, that I would sit on those committees both times. I have finished writing my report. I've sent it to Carol. She's going to send it to the end of the week. It's about 6 pages long. There are links there that you can watch some of the conferences that I attended, and I would strongly encourage you to take, the 45 minutes to an hour to listen to some of them. Some of them are very, very good, and you just follow the links and you'll find them. So anyway, with that, we'll go on to, is there any new business? Is there any old business?
Madam Chair?
Commissioner
I'd
Barr?
just like to comment on what Commissioner Bender brought up during the bills with the Burgett bill that we got. And I can remember during that whole process that I believe in total we hired 11 outside attorneys for that one case. And this is a case, of course, where Mr. Johnson, a correctional officer at the state penitentiary, was killed. We hired 11 outside attorneys, including one eventually in Rapid City, who was hired by the Supreme Court on our dime to counsel them as to whether or not Mr. Burgett could choose not to appeal his death sentence. And it's just an example of the morass that defending folks up at the penitentiary gets us into. And we have no influence over safety procedures and any of that kind of stuff that goes on there. But, you might have a person sentenced to life who punches his cellmate and gets sentenced to additional time. It's just hard to know what to do with those cases. And again, it's under the supervision of the state, but it's when it comes to trial, it's on our dime.
Thank you. Additional comments? Okay. I look for a motion for executive session for personnel, contract discussion, and contracts. Is that it? Okay.
Motion.
A motion and
Second.
a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those
Aye.
opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. We are adjourned.